In this lesson, you're going to test your English vocabulary to see how well you know these common phrasal verbs. First, you'll complete the test, and after, I'll explain each phrasal verb in detail. Let's get started. Question 1. This new app I downloaded? So much memory. Now, I'll only give you 3 seconds to answer, so hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready, hit play to see the answer. This new app I downloaded takes up. Question 2. When a company expands into other locations, it branches out. Now remember, after the quiz, I'll explain every phrasal verb in detail, so don't worry if the quiz is difficult. Question 3. The phrasal verb used when you write something down is jot down. Question 4. Can you the performance reports next week? Can you carry out? Question 5. I'm having a hard time. The assignment. I'm having a hard time keeping up with. Question 6. If you enter your information in a form, you fill in or fill out. So C. Question 7. The CEO might this week. The CEO might drop in. Question 8. If you delay an event, you push it back. Question 9. If you cancel an event, you call it off. And question 10. I'm not sure who's presenting. We're still the details. We're still sorting out the details. So how did you do with that quiz? Share your score in the comments, and now I'll explain each phrasal verb in detail. 1. To take up. This means to occupy or to fill. Now, we use this specifically with 2 different nouns. You can take up time and you can take up space, and they're both very commonly used. For example, I could say, this meeting took up my whole morning. So it occupied or filled the amount of time. Now, we can also use this with space. For example, I need a new couch because my couch takes up too much space. So it occupies or fills space. So remember, you can use this with both time and space, and they're both very commonly used. Number 2, to branch out. Now, this means to expand. And we use this specifically in a business context. So let's say you're in a meeting and you're discussing how to increase your profits. You might suggest branching out into new markets. So if you only sell in North America, you can branch out, expand, and sell in Europe or in Asia, Africa, for example. We need to branch out into new markets. Number 3, this is a fun one, to jot down. Now, you would probably understand this from context. In the meeting, I jotted down a few notes. I jotted down a few notes. So it's the exact same thing as write down. I wrote down a few notes, but it's very commonly used. So someone might ask you, maybe your boss or a colleague even, might say, hey, can you jot this down? And then they might give you a number or a date or a location and you write it down. Now, of course, not many people use pen and paper anymore, right? We take electronic notes. But if your colleague asks you to jot something something down, you can absolutely take out your phone and make a note in your phone. Jot it down in your phone. Write it down in your phone. So this still applies even though we don't really use pen and paper much. Number 4, to carry out. This means to perform or to conduct, and we use this specifically in a business context. For example, next week we're carrying out our customer surveys, our student surveys. We're carrying out our surveys. We're conducting them. We're performing them. So I'm just going to do the survey. That's the simplest way to say it. Next week we're doing the surveys. We're carrying out the surveys. Number 5, this is an important one, so make sure you jot it down. Number 5, to keep up with something. This means to make sufficient progress on. Let's say that you have this many orders and it's your job to fulfill those orders. If you fulfill this many, you've kept up with the orders. You've made sufficient progress. But if you fulfill this many, or this many, or this many, or anything less than the total number of orders, then you haven't kept up with the orders. You haven't made sufficient progress on. Now, of course, you can use this with many things other than orders. You can use it with your studies, your reading list, your chores, your performance reports, your filing, your scheduling. You can use it with many, many, many other tasks. Number 6, to fill out or to fill in a form. Now, this is one that confuses a lot of students, and they ask me, do I fill out a form? Do I fill in the form? What's the difference? The reality is there is no difference, specifically when we're talking about a form. Now, when you have to fill out an application, you could also fill in an application. Fill out your passport renewal. You can fill in your passport renewal. In this specific context, there's no difference. Number 7, to drop in. This is a great phrasal verb because you can use it both in a business context or a social context. Now, to drop in simply means to visit. So if you're talking to a friend and you're planning to visit that friend, you can say, how about I drop in Saturday morning? How about I visit Saturday morning? Now, in a business context, you might have a client that wants to drop in, that wants to visit, or you might drop in on a client just to say hello and to keep that relationship going. So you can use this in both a social and a business context. Number 8, to push back. This means to delay or postpone in the context of a scheduled event. So a scheduled event like a meeting. Let's say the meeting was scheduled for Monday, but everyone is really busy on Monday. Well, then push the meeting back until Wednesday. Postpone it until Wednesday. Now, you can use this in a social context. So you might be planning your wedding anniversary and it's your 10-year wedding anniversary. And the actual date is March 30th, but everyone is busy. So you might push it back until the middle of April so more people can attend. Well, everyone's busy, so let's push back the party until next week, until 2 weeks from now. So you can push back a scheduled event, which means to delay or postpone. Number 9, to call off. Now, this means to cancel a scheduled event. So remember in our last one, to push back, you delay or postpone. But the other alternative is simply to cancel it. But generally, when you call something off, it's because there were some problems or issues associated with it. But the problem or issue could be a scheduling conflict and just people couldn't attend. So let's say you were planning a conference for the summer, but nobody registered because everyone's really busy in the summer. So you might discuss it with your team and say, let's call off the conference. Attendance is too low, so let's call it off. Let's cancel it. Now, you can also use this in a social context. You might call off your wedding. But if you canceled your wedding, then most likely there was a problem, an issue, a big one, right? So in that context, in a social event, most people will wonder what happened. Why did they call off their wedding? Why did they call off their anniversary? They're going to assume that something is wrong. And number 10, to sort out. This means to organize or to fix if there's a problem. For example, I need to sort out my travel plans. So it could mean I just need to organize them. So I need to decide when I'm going to travel, what airline I'm going to use, what hotel I'm going to use. I need to sort out my travel plans. But I can also use it if there's some sort of problem and I need to fix it. For example, my flight was canceled, so I need to sort out my travel plans. I need to fix this problem with my plans. So to sort something out, you can organize it or you can fix it if there's a problem. Now that you're more comfortable with these phrasal verbs, let's do the exact same quiz from the beginning again, and you can compare your score from the first time to the second time. So let's do that same quiz now. Question 1. This new app I downloaded, so much memory. This new app I downloaded takes up. Question 2. When a company expands into other locations, it branches out. Question 3, the phrasal verb used when you write something down is jot down. Question 4, can you, the performance reports next week, can you carry out? Question 5, I'm having a hard time, the assignment. I'm having a hard time keeping up with. Question 6, if you enter your information in a form, you fill in or fill out. So C. Question 7, the CEO might this week. The CEO might drop in. Question 8, if you delay an event, you push it back. Question 9, if you cancel an event, you call it off. And question 10, I'm not sure who's presenting. We're still the details. We're still sorting out the details. Was that quiz a lot easier the second time? Share your score in the comments below, and why don't you see if you can pass this quiz right now? And make sure you get your free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can download it from my website right here and start your next quiz now.